It's a rugby championship game, Ollie. It's a chance to come over here, and it's the start of a. Well, I guess the tournament's already started back at Eden Park, but that we mainly focused on the Bledisloe. This is about the rugby championship, first of 5 games, and particularly with the rather unusual circumstances with the lockdown at home and then quarantining here, we really, I guess, erred on the side of the most battle-hardened recent players we had. And so that's been a key driver to make sure that we've got guys that are used to playing at this intensity in a hurry.
You've obviously been stuck in your bubble ever since you guys got over there, from kind of hotel to training ground, back to hotel and everything. In a way, is that beneficial at all for your team? Can you use that as a benefit when it comes to kickoff, given you've all been together, you've got the unity, and you've kind of just been stuck in that rugby mind for a while?
Well, that's the circumstances we've been dealt. So the goal is to try to use it for our advantage, and so we've definitely done that. And I think whilst we have only been allowed out of our hotel for a gym and a training session, everything else about the organisation here has been great. So I think the Western Australian government's done a great job. The setup here in the hotel is really good, and we're just playing with the cards we've been dealt, and we're happy that the team have done a great job this week of switching on and switching off, and getting that switch off period right's been pretty important.
We might just jump to, sorry Ollie, we might just, if you don't mind, jump to Tom and then Mark.
Go. G'day, Ian.
Tom.
With the 3 guys that obviously back at home, obvious replacements for sort of Sam Whitelock and Richie, but what sort of was the decision-making process with Brad and TJ at halfback?
Look, Brad's been with us right through the Steinlager series. Obviously, TJ wasn't with us through that campaign. TJ's come in and been outstanding. He's part of our leadership group, and he's an important voice, training well. But it was really just a vote of confidence in Brad, really. I think he's done well through the Steinlager series. It's a chance for him to, I guess, to get a bit of confidence from getting a starting position. And because quite frankly, without Aaron here, we need all our halfbacks firing. And we know it's a 2 halfback game nowadays. And we certainly have shown that we like to use both our halfbacks for an 80-minute period. So giving Brad the chance to use all the time he's had with us to actually go out and play his game, I think is going to be exciting. And like I said, we've got 5 tests in a row. This is the first, and there's going to be plenty of opportunity for everyone else.
Brilliant, thank you. Just one last one on the bench. Samasoni at reserve hooker again. Is he just an example of a guy who sort of had really quite a small opportunity, he's just taken it with both hands?
Yeah, definitely. He's done really well since he came in, and I think that selection again. Whilst it's really tough on a Suffo, and we understand that. But Samasoni's was involved in the first 2 tests. He's had more recent experience of playing at Test match level, and again with the preparation we've had, we've erred on that side, and so that's not the only reason. He's done a really good job, but in behind the scenes, we've now got a Suffo jumping out of his skin too. So there's going to be, like I said, plenty of opportunity in the next few weeks. But Samasoni's done a fantastic job.
Excellent, thank you.
Hi Ian, it's Mark here, Mark Hinton. I think there's 5 changes all told, but 3 of them are the expectant dads, and one is a fit again, Anton Leonard-Brown. So in many ways, you're kind of only discretionary changes, Geordie at fullback. Can you just talk to that, why you've made that change, and just what you want to see from Geordie? Have you tasked him with any particular aspects that you want to see him, improving?
Yeah, I think Geordie is, he's been, obviously he's a guy that's been training hard. He's been keen for looking for an opportunity. We've been pretty happy with Damien at the back in terms of his way he comes in and influences the first receiver role and some of his decision making from behind. But Geordie again, we know is a quality player. He's we get asked a lot of questions decision-making wise in attack and defence at 15, and I think that's something that is probably his biggest work on. We know he's a great individual athlete who can do some pretty special things, and it's just about bringing that calmness at the back and making sure that we have real clarity with the ball and without the ball. So, but I'm really delighted with how he's prepared. He's going well. We've got a lot of faith in him, and there's a nice little battle going there at fullback.
And if I could just throw one more in there, Ian. Rico Ioane moves back to the left wing for you with Anton fit again. Has Rico become a guy for you that you just find room for him because he's that type of influence? Can you just speak to, I guess him having to move around a little bit, but he's always getting picked in your 15 this year so far?
Yeah, I think he's playing well, and he's replacing a guy who's also playing well in Sevu. And but really, I think Rico is on top of his game. He's confident. I like his growth at both centre and wing. And I guess we've always said that we've always seen him kind of as a wing who wants to play centre, and now that's starting to even out a little bit because of his growth at centre. So we're delighted with that. But and I've got no doubt that he will go back into centre at some point. But right now his confidence is high. He's running fast, and I'm just enjoying his work rate and his contribution off the park. So he's in a good spot.
Thank you.
Liam, do you want to jump in?
Sure, yeah. Just quickly, Foz, is Sevu fit? So was it just a selection call?
Yeah, Sevu's definitely fit. Yep, no, it's and like I said, he's been playing well, and he's had 2 tests that he's done a great job and set a good marker for us. And but we've got a pretty competitive back 3, and so it's a matter of just looking at how people are training and where the energy is and what we feel we need for the next game. And in this case, I think, it's a chance, we're replacing Sevu with a player that's already been playing, so it's not like he's coming out of the cold. And there'll be, again, there's plenty of rugby coming up for Sevu to get back.
And the fullback's reasonably settled, but just on the bench, the change of Ethan Blackadder, he's been out for a few weeks, replacing Luke Jacobson.
Yep.
What's your thinking there?
I'd just call that a straight rotation if you guys will allow me to use that word without punishing me. It's he's trained really well. He's 100% in everything he does, and very similar to Luke Jacobson in that regard. So it's just a matter of we kind of deemed that he was one guy that we felt really confident that we could put him in out when he's been away for a while, just because of the way he prepares himself and trains. And again, we just want to make sure we've got a full quota of loose forwards ready to go in the coming weeks.
Thank you.
Elliot, you got your hand up?
Yep, thanks, Joe. Hi, Ian.
Elliot.
Elliot here. Can you just talk about what you've seen from Artie this week since you named him captain? Has he taken ownership of the team? What have you...
Yes, he has. He's done it in his way, which is really what we wanted. And, it's not a matter of us hearing his voice all the time. Artie's got a quiet strength about him, but when he speaks, he speaks. So, he's done a really good job off the park, and now I know that if we get closer to kick-off time, that it's about the job that he does on the park. But we got full confidence in him. There's a lot of belief in the leadership
group. We haven't seen the Wallabies.
You go.
Oh, sorry, Ian, I think my internet's playing up, but I was just going to say we haven't seen the Wallabies team as yet, but Samu Karevi sounds like he'll start at midfield, and maybe Quade Cooper in the mix. What are you expecting from them?
Oh, I don't know actually, Elliot. I won't comment on their team until I see it, mate. Don't like to waste too much mental energy on things I don't know.
Same here. Thanks, Ian.
Yep, Richard, Nola.
Yeah. Hey, Ian. How you
Richard,
going?
good, thank you.
Hey, just probably going back to it's a test match, and even though you've got the Bledisloe locked away, it still means a great deal. Do you still recollect the comments that were made by the Wallabies coach, Dave Rennie, just that he was obviously pretty peeved in the comments he made? Is it sort of something that you keep in the back of your mind to get guys motivated for a match like this?
No, I've never been a great believer in getting wound up by what else someone says, but it's it's like I said in our media release, so we're cognizant that he said that we weren't committed, and I'm just reassuring everyone we are 100%. Can't wait.
Just for one other thing I was just going to ask Ian is, sorry, hang on. Oh, I have to come back to you. Sorry, I've just got a call here. Sorry about that.
Cool. Okay.
Yep.
Ollie, you've got your hand back up. Do you want to jump in unless anyone else has got? Yep, jump in, Ollie.
Yeah, sorry, I was just going to, I'm not sure whether you guys discussed it much or not, but you've obviously dropped one test to the Wallabies in the last couple of years. Is going for that kind of 3-0 clean sweep of the series discussed within the group at all, or is it not something that's ever really mentioned or talked about?
Oh, it's certainly mentioned. It's been something that we haven't been very good at. And I think if you look at the last 10 years, I think we've only sort of clean sweep them 3 times in 10 years. So it's an achievement that it's obviously a little bit harder than what everyone thinks it is, because we haven't done it that often, and it has revealed that subconsciously we don't really switch well from a Bledisloe Cup series to a Rugby Championship series, because the reality is we're just moving on from the Cup, because that's already done, and we're into a Rugby Championship here, and our first game over here is against Australia, and so we know the significance of it. So the fact that it's a challenge that we haven't done a lot in the past is important to us, and it's certainly something that we'd like to achieve. But we're under no illusions that past results mean a lot when you go into test matches with Australia.
Yep. Do you want to jump in? Is anyone else? We've got about 5 minutes left. So, Mark, we'll go to you.
Yeah. Fozzie, kind of a continuation on that theme. I guess there are parallels between this test and what happened last year with you guys going from Sydney to Brisbane. I just wonder, what do you take from last year's experience? What have you done differently this year? The lessons, the stuff you've learned. Can you just speak to that first?
I probably don't see a lot of parallels with last year, to be frank. I guess you do when you look at the games and the order of them and the scores and stuff. But last year's was a very unique environment where it was a very short campaign, and we were sort of in a position that it was the only opportunity we had to make changes and to grow some depth. So I think last year's situation was unique. But if I go back a few years before that, we've been in this situation, I think they're probably a little bit more relevant. And I think being surrounded by talk of dead rubbers and third Bledisloes and all those sort of words when you'd already got the cup in the trophy cabinet can lull you into a false sense of security. And I think the biggest thing for us is getting really excited about tuning into the Rugby Championship. I mean, we don't want to have excuses. And saying it's a dead rubber and giving yourself an out before you go on the park is not a good way to prepare for a test match. So, we've just got to be up front, and it's been a very interesting preparation time for this one, but it's a Rugby Championship game that we need to nail to position ourselves in this championship the way we want to be. And so we've been pretty black and white about that. Okay,
Tom. We'll go back to Tom from Rugby Pass. Oz?
Thanks, Joe. And just real quickly on the injury situation, mentioned in the release that Paddy's out with injury. What's his prognosis, and are there any other sort of injury concerns apart from those sort of longer-term ones that you've had for a little bit?
No, there's Paddy's groin tightened up on his first couple of days here, and gradually got better and better and better. So we're just looking after him. At this stage, we expect him to be right for next week. but it's been a matter of, we haven't got an abundance of players, and we can't call players in late. So it's been a matter of being really cautious in that particular regard with Paddy. So, but he's still running around at training, just in a very managed environment. The only other injury of note is probably Ethan de Groot. Got a bit of a neck strain, but again, he's progressing really, really well, and he's not really a long-term concern.
And just in the Paddy case, it presents a good opportunity for Tupou to get that first minutes for the All Blacks this year.
Yeah, no, it'd be great. Like he, if you go back 12 months when we first brought him in, we had the confidence to put him in that Bledisloe at Eden Park, and started him there, and I thought he did an outstanding job, and we've got a lot of faith in him. I think he showed last year that his ability to step up and to go to the next level is there, and this year he came off a massive workload at Super Rugby, so we've really used the Steinlager series to manage him, so he's now jumping out of his skin, ready to go. So, the boys have a lot of faith in him. He prepares well, and can't wait to see him on the park.
Okay, anyone got any last questions before we let Foz go?
Surely Richard's Noel. Was that your mum telling you what question to ask next, Richard? Ringing.
It's the kids putting a bloody basketball through their guttering.
Okay, well, I might get them to ring you more often during media interviews. It's good.
Right, yeah. You just enjoy the weather over there. I'll fix the guttering.
Okay, mate.
Okay.
Thanks, everyone.